Former friend spills, Meg stores up free clothing from fashion labels since 2018, now she simply unveils them. Meghan Markle has been criticized for accumulating the kind of expenditure she's contemplating. She's notably frugal. The Duchess of Sussex has recently been labelled notably frugal amid reports she's spending somewhat too extravagantly. All these contentions come from royal commentator Daniela Elsa. She chimed in on everything in one of her features for News.com Australia. In that feature, she spoke extensively about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's evening out. For those unacquainted, the outing featured staggering amounts, from her Christian Louboutin heels to a Valentino mini dress. The Duchess seemed to have incurred quite a bill after donning $9,800 in garments in the view of Miss Elsa, not yet including the going rate for teenage babysitters in Montecito these days, maybe a couple of bitcoins or equity in OpenAI. This single evening alone comes to a total value of at least $443,000. She also remarked socially, the Sussexes are now operating in an entirely new echelon, prompting the question, can or will they be able to financially keep pace? Meghan Markle, it must be emphatically noted, has long relished accumulating freebies from wealthier companions and not even remotely companions. She went so far as to add that the Sussexes now find themselves in a different situation altogether. One where the new social milieu is predominantly occupied by people who are often immensely wealthier than them, portraying them as notably frugal by comparison. In light of this, she also raised a question about finances before signing off and said it's doubtful they could personally afford all that private jetting. Indeed, a former friend of Meghan used to disclose in a blind item that Meghan Markle is now donning the same outfits she used to wear when she was in the royal family. It's not that she recycles, but she's amassed a lot of gratis clothing from fashion brands. At that time, she took advantage of her royal status to obtain those things. Brands also don't hesitate because they think they can associate themselves with the royal family. You may have observed that the garments Harry's wife recently wore were all introduced and sold between 2018 and 2021. They're not novel designs. Recently, there were speculations that Meghan and Harry were in debt for up to $28 million. Meghan attributes their predicament to Harry, explains the source. It's dawned on her that his work experience was predominantly limited to shaking hands at royal events. Harry never had a genuine career aside from his royal duties and his time in the armed forces, says the source. It's not the fairy tale she envisioned when they wed in 2018. Marrying a prince should be a dream fulfilled. Meghan anticipated adoration from all, but the reality of her situation hasn't been entirely delightful, notes the source. She's borne the brunt of negative publicity, which vexes her. While little girls may regard her as a real-life princess, no one else seems to. Harry and Meghan thought life outside the royal family would be simpler. A source to Star magazine claims Meghan criticized Harry, but in reality, she has no skill beyond roaming the neighborhood taking photos and selling them to the media. A $28 million debt is unsurprising, they only made a down payment on the house. Add taxes and insurance to the monthly mortgage payments, then include staff and maintenance, the list goes on just for the house. Now factor in all the rest of their staff and anything they've had to pay for PR and travel. They seek complementary items. She's emitted financial strain vibes since Spotify bid farewell. All of a sudden, she's sporting vintage and accessible attire. Meghan even obtained the white outfit she wore in New York City for the Mental Health Summit from a second-hand store in Montecito. It didn't fit properly, and since Katy Perry wore it 2 years ago,